Sorry. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon to everyone. Okay, so before we start our class today, so kindly mark your attendance through Putra Blast. Please mark your attendance through Putra Blast. So insyaAllah these two weeks onwards kita akan start dengan sweet and sweet and sour je sikit-sikit. InsyaAllah kita akan habis cepat. Kita akan proceed topic by topic. Okay, so this week we proceed with reliability test. Okay, reliability analysis. Okay, so next one, this is our LO. Okay, so at the end of the session, students are able to identify steps involved in instrument development. So if let's say you are interested to develop instrument, so developing instrument can be a full research topic by itself. Just developing instrument, for example, you want to develop a new instrument to measure job performance. Just to measure job performance, it can be a thesis, a PhD thesis or a master science thesis by itself. Okay, no need for you to study the connection or the relationship between variables to come up with one thesis. Okay, so then determine that the source of measurement error. Okay, the errors that involve in measurement. Sebab in quantitative study, the instrument is heart of the quantitative study. If you are having problem or if you are having trouble in your instrument, then means you have to start all over again. Okay, so that's why in quantitative study, so we look at the instrument ni as a very significant part. Instrumen ni penting sangat dalam kajian kuantitatif. Sebab kalau ada masalah sahaja dengan instrumen, means that you have to start all over again. Okay, start developing your instrument again, look for the instrument again, do the content validity again, okay, start the your data collection again, and so on. Okay, and then determine types of reliability in quantitative study. Okay, and then analysis and interpret the reliability finding. Okay, we will do the reliability analysis and how to read it, and then report our finding. Okay, so so reliability ni refers to the correlation of item in statistics. If let's say we translate the word reliability to statistical form, so reliability ni is a form of correlation, but between item, not between construct. Okay, but correlate, if let's say correlation between construct, then probably we refer to the correlation analysis, either Pearson product moment correlation or Spearman rank order. But the reliability ni referring to correlation between items. So I do hope that everybody in this class has no problem in defining or in referring to what is item. Items means that the individual item, individual question within any instrument. Okay, individual question or statement within your instrument. Okay, so one instrument can have 5 items, okay, onwards. Okay, but in quantitative study, I can propose to you the minimum of item for each construct should be not lesser than 3. Okay, jangan bagi kita punya instrumen. Kalau let's say kita jumpa instrumen kita tu ada kurang daripada 3, for example 2. Okay, it is considered to be invalid. Invalid. Sebab it is impossible to measure one construct, to measure one concept with only 2 items. Impossible. Okay. So my recommendation for you to have 3. For you, if let's say you use the IBM SPSS, but if let's say for the advanced level, if you want to use the AMOS, analysis of moment structure by using structural equation modeling, for example, then it requires more items because there will be the tendency for you to delete the items to come up with a fitted model fit to reach the fitted model. So then there will be a tendency for you to delete the item, okay, during the analysis. Kalau if you have SPSS ni dia tak adalah teruk-seteruk guna structural equation modeling using AMOS. Okay, but some of you might also interested to use partial least square. Same juga structural equation modeling but using PLS, partial least square. Okay. Okay, next one. Okay. Okay, so it is a statistical measure of how reproducible the survey instruments data are. Okay, so without reliability, research results using the instrument are not replicable. Okay, maksudnya it cannot be used. Okay, replicability is fundamental to the scientific method. So any research, so when we conduct the study, it should be replicated, not duplicated, replicated. So similar to our study. For example, in our study, we figure out that we found that there is a significant relationship between employee engagement and job performance, for example. So if your study has the replicability power, so meaning that another study being conducted with similar respondent, with similar setting, will produce similar result. Not exactly, not necessarily equal, but similar finding. If let's say your finding indicated that the result is positive relationship, and then in terms of the strength is moderate, so next study also should also provide with that finding. Itu maksud dia replicable, unless the next study tu been conducted among different respondents. So there will be the possibility for the finding to be different. Okay, ada possibility. Bila dia ada ubah je sikit, so ada possibility berbeza lah. Okay, itu maksud replicability. Okay, so reliability is estimated in one of 4 ways. So there are 4 types lah. But kita tengok nanti berapa yang kita boleh discuss. Okay, so but in general, there are 4 types of reliability. So the first one, which is the one that most familiar among our students, which is the internal consistency. Okay, so internal consistency ni is a way to provide reliability estimation that is based on grouping questions in a questionnaire that measure the same concept. So meaning that we run the analysis by locating all the items together, okay, analyzing the items at one shot. Okay, and then most of the time we use Cronbach alpha as an indicator to indicate the reliability of the instrument. So we use Cronbach alpha. So later on, when you report your reliability section in your chapter 3 under the reliability and validity, so you report that you determine the reliability in your study by using the internal consistency based on Cronbach alpha. Itu contoh report dalam bab 3. Okay, and the second option is you can use the split half reliability. Split half tu bagi 2. Itu je bahasa Melayu dia, bagi 2. So bila kita sebut bagi 2 tu dah faham dah. Teknik dia pun mesti akan melibatkan bahagi 2. Split half. Okay, so reliability, it is referring to reliability estimation that is based on correlation of 2 equivalent forms of the scale, which is in this split half reliability, we use Spearman-Brown coefficient, SB coefficient. So later on, I will explain a little bit detail regarding split half. How is it possible to split half our data? Okay, to divide our data into 2. Okay, the next one, test-retest reliability. So test-retest reliability ni provide estimation based on the correlation between multiple administration of the same measure. So this test-retest reliability ni, they try to correlate, okay, the answer given by different raters. It also use Spearman-Brown coefficient, sama macam split half, cuma teknik dia berbeza. Test-retest ni we use different raters and then we correlate result among the raters. Okay, next one, inter-rater reliability. Okay, so inter-rater reliability is referring to reliability estimation based on correlation of score between 2 or more raters who answer the same measure. It's quite similar. Inter-rater, test-retest reliability. Okay, quite similar. Okay, so these are the category of the categories of social science instrument. Okay, where we can use this instrument. So first, behavioral rating scale. For example, for what you are measuring right now, job performance, for example. So that one falls under the behavior rating scale. And then sometimes we can use the checklist and inventories. Itu pun boleh jadi instrumen juga. For example, if you want to get the feedback related to the applicability of new job inventory, for example, job performance inventory. Next one, the psychometric instrument. Okay, rating scale. Okay, rating scale, survey questionnaires, test. Okay, which is, for example, teacher made and standardized. For example, the SPM. Okay, SPM exam and so on. Okay, so these are the usage of the instrument in social science. Okay, and then in terms of mode, it can be based on self-report or independent rater. Okay, another issue being raised when you deciding on your instrument, the instrument to be used is how many rating scale, how many skills should be used. Is it 5 points? Is it 3 points? Or is it 7 points or 10 points? Which one is the best? Which one is the best? Which one is the best? 5. Why 5?
Because we can differentiate each skill punya tu apa? Agreement ke, satisfaction ke macam tu.
Okay, let's say we use our study, we conduct our study among among respondents with secondary primary school leavers or those who never attended the school. In your opinion, do they have the capability to differentiate between that 5 scale? For example, 1 for agree, 1 for strongly agree, 2 for strongly 1 for strongly disagree, 2 for disagree, 3 neutral, 4 agree, 5 strongly agree. For those who never attended any formal education. So the use of 3, 5, 7, 10, it depends. One of the requirement is depending on the level of education of our respondent. The higher the level of education, we have the assumption that they have the capability, the ability to differentiate between those psychological differences in the answer. Okay, but the most common, yes, 5. What been mentioned by Shahira and Balkis, 5. Okay, the most oftenly used rating like scale is 5. But sometimes you can use 7 or you can even use 10, depending on the psychological ability of your respondent to differentiate or discriminate between those scales, those points. Okay, and then sometimes why some researchers use 4, not 5. Why? Okay, because sometimes when you locate 3 at the middle, you have the tendency to put it as neutral. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1 strongly disagree. Here is agree, strongly disagree, strongly agree, sorry. So then neutral. What does it mean by neutral? Is it similar to undecided, or you do not have any opinion? So does it mana satu? What does it mean? So, supposedly the scale ni should be not in continuous, but in in ascending order, in ascending. So if let's say your decision is neutral, does it considered to be better than disagree or lesser than agree? So psychologically. So supposedly if you neutral, means that you are undecided or you cannot decide. Probably here, good, 0. You do not have any decision. Right? So that's why in some research report, you can see the researcher only report the first one, which is strongly disagree. And then the end of it, which is number 5, strongly agree. That's it. They do not specify those at the middle. Because they assume that from 1 to 5, it is in ascending order. Faham eh? If you want to go in detail, then you need to check for the psychometric class. Dia akan tengok untuk, dia akan define lagi detail lah regarding the Likert light scale ni. Okay? Any questions so far? 4 ni sometimes they omit because there is a tendency for researcher, rather than use neutral, they use slightly agree or slightly disagree. If let's say you use slightly disagree, sorry, if you use slightly agree, then your instrument already biased, right? You are prone toward agreement. If you use the slightly disagree, then your instrument also considered to be biased because you are prone towards negative disagreement. So basically, when you attending any class related to instrument development, so this part will be discussed in detail lah. Tapi kita so far kita tak offer, kita ada kursus tu tapi tak ada pengajar. Okay, so ini the consideration that you need to prepare lah. So have some reading lah regarding this one. So if let's say you use 5, then provide justification why 5. If you use 3, then why 3. If you use 7, then why 7. Okay, nothing's wrong with that. Just provide your logical justification. Okay. Next one, steps in measure. Yes, any question? Ada?
Doktor, sorry, kalau kita tak letak yang skill nombor 3 tu, dia jadi salah ke macam mana? Maksudnya?
Maksudnya memang tak letak langsung yang nombor 3.
Maksudnya kita buat 1, 2, 3, 4 saja. 1,
1,
2, 3, 4.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 means that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Disagree.
Okay.
Yes. Maksudnya tak ada neutral. Neutral tu tak ada.
Tak ada lah. Because something, what does it mean by neutral? Sebenarnya those who are expert in the Allahu Akbar, saya lupa dah. In the instrument development ni, there's an issue regarding when you locate the neutral between the disagree and agree ni. Because from this disagreement to agreement is strongly disagree to strongly agree, there should be in continuous. But if let's say you are neutral, means that you are undecided. Is it? Are you sure that if let's say you are undecided too, you are truly cannot decide? You are on 0 scale. Dia ada isu tu sikit lah. But as long as you have justification, then should be fine. Okay. So yes, Balki.
Should we follow the original instrument if they use 5 or 7 scale? So should we follow them or we can adapt by changing?
Okay, both possible. Either you can adopt the instrument or adapt the instrument. Both is possible, but the best is try to maintain whatever the instrument, what the author proposed. But sometimes you need to suit it with your respondent. So you can change either to 5 to 4, depending on your respondent. Okay, but again, provide justification if you want to change. Okay, you cannot simply change. If you change, then provide justification. But if you maintain, then probably make sure that the respondent that we use pun similar to those author, sama dengan kajian yang digunakan oleh kajian penyelidik asal. Okay, possible adopt or adapt. Okay. Okay, next one. Step, ada lagi? Is there any more question? Okay, ni nak lepas dah siap dah pun data collection ni. Saja je tanya ni. Okay, so next one, steps in measure development process. So to come up to propose a new instrument, we start with concept dulu, concept. So that's why when you are proposing any instrument, first you need to look or analyze what does the concept, what does the general or foundation of a concept ni. Okay, kalau you attend class apa tu conflict last time, so every words, not all words can be illustrated by physical stuff, by physical object, kan? Maksudnya tak semua. Kalau apple contohnya ataupun kalau rak kita boleh illustrate dengan object, but not all things we can translate or illustrate with physical object. For example, job performance. Is it circle? Is it triangle? Tak ada shape. So that's why we need to try to shape. Okay, try to have a shape of this job definition. What are the criteria of job performance ni? Okay, so then you need to collect all the concept available from the literature. Okay, from the books, from the articles, from the journals, from any manuscript. Okay, and then based on that, you come up with domain delineation. You try to identify, based on those analysis from the concept, you try to identify the significant domain that been proposed by those authors. So kat sini kita buat benchmarking. Sama kalau dalam business ke kan, kita buat benchmarking. Konsep ni sebenarnya from the concept we come up with benchmarking. We do the analysis to come up with benchmarking. Okay, and then from the result of your analysis, then you come up with domain delineation. Okay, and then we measure the design and item generation. Okay, after we identify the domain, then we design the measure. How we are going to measure this element, job performance, for example. Okay, and then we look for the item generation, and then we search for reliability testing. Okay, we test for the reliability. Okay, for the dimensionality testing and validity testing. Lastly, validation for the last step. So these are the steps in measure development, the step involved in measure development. So ini yang last sebenarnya dia sampai dekat validation for each. So maksudnya, meaning to say for all the instrument, for example in your study you have 2 IVs and 1 DV. So means that the 3 instrument that you have used in your study ni has went through this process, so that it is available for you to be used by the next researcher. Inilah proses yang dia dah alami, dah lepasi. Okay? Okay, so tadi Balkis mention.
Doktor,
Yes.
Doktor, dimensionality testing tu apa, Doktor?
Dimensionality testing. Okay, so sometimes when you come out with the instrument, it is not possible to just measure your variable based on the individual item. Item ni the individual question or the individual statement. It is not possible because within that element, within that variable or construct, there is a sub-construct or a few more dimension. For example, in my previous illustration, we have our head, our main body, and our kaki, contohnya, foot. Okay, feet, our kaki. 3. So it is not possible to measure the instrument to, if let's say we collectively measure it by group. Macamnya contoh eyebrow, kita letak eyebrow. Faham tak? Kita list down eyebrow. Sedangkan kita boleh divide into a specific dimension. Which is this one is head, kepala, badan dan kaki. Dia ada grouping dia. So sebab kening mungkin tak boleh nak mengukur badan. So kening mengukur bahagian kepala, for example. So itu dia punya the illustration. Because probably the construct tu is a very big construct. For example, well-being. Macam mana nak ukur well-being? Is it fair to measure well-being based on physical health? Tak cukup. Tak cukup untuk kita ukur. Bila kita tengok luaran sahaja, not enough to measure employees' well-being. Because another element that should be considered when you measure the employees' well-being is the mental well-being, psychological well-being, emotional well-being. Itu for example, in emotional well-being, it has its own items. So macam contoh emotional, psychology, physical are the dimension for employees' well-being. Itu contoh. But inside the emotional well-being, it has its own item. And then inside the cognitive well-being, it has its own item. Inside the physical well-being, it has its own items. Clear Apa itu dimension Dimension tu dia macam subcomponent kepada construct tersebut. Okay? Okay. So tadi Balkis ada mention about either to adopt or adapt. So there are two, if let's say to those who are not interested to develop a new instrument, then you have two options. Either you want to adapt or adopt an instrument. Okay. So adopt ni referring to no changes should be made in wording, answer categories, order or format of question or administrative procedures. So in general, when you adopting an instrument, no changes should be made on the instrument. Tak boleh ubah apa-apa. Okay, because sometimes when you found an instrument, the researcher, the authors already mentioned that not any part of the instrument should not be amended. Sometimes ada memang author tulis macam tu. Particularly for psychometric instrument, psikologi lah, memang dah di IP kan, di copyright kan. So the author does not allow you to make any changes on the instrument. So you have to use as it is. Okay, so we adopt when we replicate a study. Replicate, meaning replicate, you want to reconfirm the finding of previous study. You follow exactly the steps and procedures of previous study to make sure that the finding that been proposed by those authors are accurate. Sebab kita ada case last time ada researcher yang dia replicate. There's one study lah very good study lah. This one referring to experimental study lah, which conducted by science stream scholars. They conduct one study and then the result very bombastic and then attract so many researchers lah. So then there's a group of researchers try to replicate the study and then found that the findings are totally different. So something wrong with the study lah, with the earlier study. Kalau tak boleh replicate tu something wrong. Okay. Next one, incapable to improve another's instrument. Maksudnya tak boleh nak improve instrument tu, so that's why we have to adopt. We cannot do any amendment, any improvement on the instrument, then we have no choice, we have to adopt. Okay, next one, instrument is under copyright. Sama juga, tak boleh buat improvement. To compare the findings. To compare the findings, sama macam dalam replicate. Okay, then to use instruments of known reliability and validity, because it has been proven by previous scholars that the instrument that we are going to use is already have a very good reliability and validity. So then nothing should be changed lah. Okay, should be just use as it is. Adapting instrument. So the second option is we adapt. Adapt means that we change any aspect of the instrument. Any aspect. Okay. For example, okay, when the instrument is too long, okay, in Balkis case, for example, so we shorten it, we use the most easiest term. Kadang-kadang the term being used cozy, for example, the term cozy itu referring to selesa sometimes, but in local culture, we use comfortable. So the term tu we want to make it suitable with our respondent. Okay, term yang kita gunakan tu supaya dia tak nampak jargon sangat dekat kita punya respondent. Okay, bila respondent baca, when our respondent read our question, then they can easily understand our items. Itu yang kita nak. So that's why we make some adjustment ataupun adaptation to suit with our respondent. Then different population from the original population is being studied. Maksudnya kalau dalam adopt you cannot even change your respondent. If the original author author conducted the study among teachers, then your study also need to be conducted among teachers to adopt, so that you can use adopt. But if you change your respondent to those working in manufacturing, then the adaptation already happened. Even you do not change anything in the instrument, but you change the respondent. That one already considered the adapt. Okay, and then instrument need to be translated to another language. For example, last time when I did my study, one of the instrument that I use only available in Dutch. Dalam bahasa Dutch dia available, tak ada dalam bahasa lain. So that's why that one I contacted the researcher, and then I got the permission from the author to translate the instrument, to use the instrument and then translate the instrument into Malay language, and then I give the Malay version to him. So kalau researcher ni dia kalau kita betul-betul ada spirit as a researcher, kita akan sangat happy kalau kita punya hasil ni ditranslated dalam banyak bahasa. Kita akan rasa happy. So then saya bagi balik advantage to that original author. Dekat dia ada version time tu, dia dah ada version English, dia dah ada, Dutch dah ada, Mandarin dah ada, then another one Malay. Okay, and then instrument need to be expanded or reordered. Sometimes the original of the original instrument tu not in order, not maksudnya dia bukan dalam bentuk psychological macam biasanya from easy to hard kan, dan makin mula-mula senang daripada senang kepada susah. Tapi kadang-kadang bisu bila kita suitkan dengan with our respondent, then kita ubah dia punya arrangement. Sama juga expanded, sometimes the instrument tu terlalu singkat, so then we need to expand the items. Next one, change in the data collection procedure. Maksudnya ada berlaku perubahan bila kita administer or collect our data compared to the original author. And then when you adapt your instrument, you need to repeat the pilot study. Okay, so, to get the new reliability and to confirm the validity. Okay, bila kita adapt saja, kita buat je perubahan, any changes that we do, okay, to our respondent, to the instrument, then we need to rerun the reliability and validity during our pilot study. Okay. Okay, so what is measurement? Measurement. So measurement is referring to any rules for assigning numbers to object in such a way as to represent quantities of attribute. Maksudnya kita nak quantify something. Okay, dia sama macam ruler tu, baris. Okay, so the conceptual definition, kalau dalam kita punya, tadi saya dah explain So the conceptual definition in our study referring to definition that describe a concept in terms of another concept. So kalau conceptual definition ni dia lead to another concept which is not in measurable form. So that's why in quantitative study, we need the operational definition. It is a must, it is a compulsory to have the operational definition. So the operational definition inilah yang akan characterize what are the criteria that been measured in our study. For example, just now I mentioned about employee well-being. So for example, past studies indicated that to measure employee well-being, you need to have three domains of psychological well-being, emotional well-being, and physical well-being. For example, 3. But in your study, you only use 2. For example, you use 2, physical and psychology. So then you provide your justification why in your study you only measure 2, not 3. Okay, you just justify, but make sure your justification is logic lah, not because the instrument is too long. Jangan macam tu. Okay, provide justification why probably among your respondents the element of emotional is not suitable, for example, due to what and what. Okay, And then construct refer to a concept that is specifically defined for scientific study. So construct ni it's regularly been used when you start to analyze your data. Sebenarnya term tu dia hampir sama. Cuma kadang-kadang tempat dia sahaja yang berbeza bila kita pakai. Okay, so when we collect data, so there are two types of errors mostly exist, random error and measurement error. Okay, so collect data ni maksudnya sama any means lah, maksudnya kaedah sama ada kaedah yang kita gunakan untuk collect data ataupun the instrument itself. Okay, so random error ni referring to unpredictable error. Okay, it is primarily affected by sampling technique. Random sampling ke non-random ke apa tu lagi apa lagi cluster sampling ke. So it is due to the technique, the sampling technique of data collection procedure that we use. Okay, so how we can reduce the random error hari ini? Okay, so by increasing our sample size. Increase our sample size, then we can reduce the random error. Okay, then we make sure we have the representative sample. How to do the representative sample? By employing the random sampling. Okay, by employing the random sampling. So then it can help us to reduce the random error. Okay, the second one is measurement error, which is it is referring to how well or poorly an instrument performs in a given population. Maksudnya measurement error ni referring to error in our instrument. Questionnaire ni. Okay, so it reflects the precision or lack of precision of the survey instrument itself. Betul ke tak item yang kita ada dalam instrumen kita ni reflecting the construct, reflecting the variable that we want to measure. How sure are we about the accuracy of the items being used in our instrument? So if let's say we decrease in measurement error, will increase in data accuracy. Semakin kurang measurement error ni, semakin tinggi finding, accuracy of the finding that we have. So kalau random error ni biasanya kita susah nak control. Okay, kecuali dengan dua ni je. Okay, sama ada increasekan size dengan representative sample. Itu sahaja secara teknikalnya that we can reduce the random error. The rest we cannot do nothing. We can do nothing untuk random error. Measurement error ni yang critical. Okay. Okay. So measurement error ni referring to any deviation from the true value. Supposedly, for example, has not supposedly indicated that there is no significant association between job employee engagement and job performance. And then in real actually memang tak ada penghubungan tu. But in our study, sudah.
Steve 我需要线上更新。
Sekejap nak mute. Okay, but in our study, based on our research hypothesis, then we figure out that there is a positive relationship. Sebenarnya there is not possible for us to double check, but unless we check the instrument. Tengok balik. Data tu tak boleh buat apa dah. Okay, and then measurement error ni also can be consistent error of systematic error, in which, for example, the weighing machine consistently showing a reading that is 5 pounds higher than the accurate value. Itu pun contoh juga consistent error. Dia reading dia sebenarnya 5 gram lagi tinggi daripada yang sebenar. Tapi bacaan dia consistent. Second one, inconsistent or random error. Dia ada dua jenis, consistent and inconsistent random error. For example, weighing machine shows different reading every time we use. Itu contoh dua. So how we can minimize? Through reliability and validity by increasing the consistency and increasing the accuracy. So consistency referring to reliability, okay, consistent, and then accuracy referring to validity. Okay, dua cara ni untuk kita reduce the measurement error. Okay, so these are the effect of measurement error. Okay, so measurement random error may reduce correlation between a measure and other variable possible. Dia akan reduce hubungan tu ataupun dia akan exaggerate the relationship. Possible dua-dua. And then systematic error may increase or reduce correlation between two variables. Sama macam kat atas tu. Okay, dia akan reduce or exaggerate. Exaggerate the relationship between two variables. Okay. Okay, so any questions so far? So far so good InsyaAllah hari ni kita habiskan reliability je, sikit je. Okay, so reliability. Now, reliability. What is reliability? When you learn during your research method class, consistency. So reliability according to Nunali ni is one of the pioneer tadi saya ingat dah, in instrument development. Okay, dia one of pioneer lah. Okay, so reliability ni indicates measure they are relatively free from random error. Free from random error. So tu dalam bahasa statistik dia lah. Okay, dalam bahasa mudah dia, layman dia adalah consistency of an instrument in providing a similar result over time. Itu bahasa mudah dia lah. Okay, so reliability relates only to consistency. Okay, it's only referred to or belong to consistency. Does not measure accuracy. So a reliable person who is consistent but always 15 minutes late would still be reliable in a measurement context, but it is not valid. Dia 15 minit lambat, tapi dia consistent 15, mesti masuk kelas tu 15 minit lambat. Hari-hari macam tu. Untuk dia adalah reliable but not valid. Okay, so a measurement can be reliable but not necessarily accurate. Okay, instrument can give the consistent findings, but the findings not necessarily accurate. Okay, kalau kita interview respondent ni, for example, when you conduct an interview, you interview the similar respondent few times, and then he or she give the similar example, consistent example, but not necessarily answer given by this respondent or informant is accurate. Walaupun dia accuracy ni susah sikit. Okay, so there are 3 types to measure reliability. Okay, test retest reliability, alternate form reliability, and internal consistency reliability. Okay, so first one, test retest reliability ni, we use same scale administered twice with an interval of a few weeks. Similar instrument, similar scale, but we administered twice with the period of interval, with interval period of 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, to the same set of respondent. We use similar instrument, similar respondent. We test twice with interval between 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. And then correlation between 2 data sets from the same individual known as intra-observer reliability. Because we use similar respondent, so that's why intra-observer. Okay, we check for the reliability or the consistency of the answer given by the respondents from 2 different time frame. Okay, then we measure by correlation coefficient. We use R values. Okay, and then we just run the correlation as usual. We get the construct, we get the average, with the mean, and then we run the correlation analysis. Okay, so for the R, the correlation coefficient value larger than 0.7 considered to be acceptable. Okay, but the issue of test retest reliability, okay, if let's say we use the short intervals of instrument administration, tend to yield to high reliability estimate. Okay, because of learning practice effect. Okay, ni learning practice. Because the respondent still can record the answer he or she gave during first test. For the first test, he or she still can record the answer that she marked. Okay, and then invalidity due to maturation if intervals of instrument administration is too long. So that's why dia tak boleh too long ataupun tak boleh too short the interval tu. Okay, and then the respondent refuse to take a second administration may cause some subject to drop out of the pool. Ini juga isu yang common lah. Let's say for the first test we use 30, the second one hopefully we can get 30, but sometimes we just manage to collect 15. Okay, so in terms of the procedure, so sama je, click run, we get the mean for our variable. Okay, click analyze and then click correlate bivariate. Dah, itu sahaja. But for the reliability purpose, we do not have any intention to mark for the flag significant ni, because the main purpose is just to get the value of correlation. Okay, the value of correlation. In terms of reading, okay, how we read the finding, we just look at this Pearson correlation value. This is the number n referring to the number of sample. S ni significant value. Okay, but what we need to report is only this one. Since the value is larger than 0.7, then we say we can conclude that the instrument is reliable. Okay, senang je nak baca ni, correlation je. Okay, this is the APA presentation and reporting for reliability. Okay, test retest reliability if you use in your study. So Pearson correlation was computed to assess test retest reliability of the visualization test score. The correlation value, that in bracket 75 nearest a number of sample equals to 0.938. So this indicates that there is good test retest reliability for this data. So that's all, how to report your reliability if you use the test retest. Okay, next one, alternate form reliability. Okay, so alternate form reliability ni involve using differently worded items to measure the same attribute. You just use different wording in your instrument. Okay, either you question and responses are reworded or question and responses order change. Okay, from the first test. Okay, we use same population at different time points. Sama juga, kita use similar respondent, cuma time point dia berbeza. Interval, ada interval. So sama, measured by correlation coefficient, which is R values, and then higher strength of relationship indicates higher reliability. So we use a similar cut-off point, which is R larger or equal to 0.7, considered to be acceptable. Okay, and then the advantage of alternate form reliability ni to avoid practice effect, as in the first reliability test tadi. Test retest tadi kan, to avoid practice effect. So therefore we change the word or we change the order. Okay, and then two time points are closer together. Dia tak ada issue lah, two intervals to closer together tu, there is no issue because we change the arrangement and we revert the instrument. Okay. Okay, so this is the example of this type of reliability. Okay, so version A, for example, how often during the past 4 weeks have you felt sad and blue? Okay, sama, version B pun sama, but we change the the 5-point like scale ni. From all of the time, 1 to never. Most of the time to occasionally. Some of the time, occasionally we change to most of the time, never all the time. Okay. Another example. Okay, during the past week, how often did you usually empty your bladder? Sama, dia punya item soalan sama, but we change the scale. Okay. Ni. Okay, next one, internal consistency reliability. So this one is the most common one lah. So internal consistency procedures assess whether a set of item fits together or belongs together. Okay, so for example, if you have job performance instrument, so that's why when you run the internal consistency reliability ni, you cannot run it as your overall instrument. Faham tak? You need to run based on individual construct. You cannot combine all this construct, all the items in all the construct together. Cannot. You have to run it individually according to your construct, because we want to make sure, or we want to assess either the set of items or either the set of statement within our construct ni fits together. Okay, so it is applied to groups of items. we measure using an overall indicator of internal consistency reliability, which is Cronbach alpha and split half approach. Dua benda. Sama ada kita guna split half ataupun Cronbach alpha ni. Okay, if you want to use Cronbach alpha approach, this is the most easiest lah. Okay, so it is a measure of internal consistency. Okay, it is a scale designed to measure a single construct, for example, job performance, job satisfaction. Okay, and it determines the degree to which all the items are measuring the same construct. Maksudnya all the items within the that instrument ni measuring similar thing, leads toward similar thing. Okay, so alpha is measured on the same scale as Pearson. Sama Pearson product moment correlation sama juga. Correlation coefficient, which is the value ranges from 0 to 1. So 0 indicated no the instrument, the item not fit together, 1 completely fit together. Itu maksudnya. So this is the scale. Siapa tanya itu? Mahfuz ada. This is Mahfuz around. Mahfuz, then you can check this one, but I forgot to locate the author. This is one of the skill that you can use.
But then itulah, if below then 0.7 is questionable. Questionable is still can kata reliability tak ke?
Rendah lah,
Terima.
questionable. Dia questionable but still dia tak kata unacceptable. Questionable. Kan? Below apa tu 0.5 tu baru unacceptable. But as long as you manage to find the justification, then should be fine. Refer to past study, then try to find justification. If that researcher use the number that you want, then should be fine lah. Boleh. Social science dia adalah yang flexible. Okay?
Doktor.
Yes.
Reliability tu memang kena test by construct,
By construct, yes.
bukan by variable. Okay, tapi bila
by construct tu by variable lah.
tak, sebab bawah variable kan ada construct bukan sub-construct.
Yes.
So by variable or construct, not sub-construct.
No.
Okay, faham.
Okay. So next one, assumptions when you use the Cronbach alpha, we make sure that all items must be measured on an interval or ratio scale. Okay, each item should be normally distributed. Ini biasalah but this one is the manual calculation lah. Tapi insyaAllah tak ada dalam final exam lah. But this is the manual calculation. Kalau later kod-kod lah nanti nak sambung PhD ke, inilah dia Okay. So to run, this is how to run the reliability by using Cronbach alpha in SPSS. Okay. So this one goes on. Saya guna BE. Okay. Let's do the hands-on. Let's open our last week data file. Hold on, Hold on, my data. Okay, so for example, this is our data set. Okay, so this is our data set. Okay, so to run the reliability, as I said, it must be based on individual construct. So for example, for PB, philanthropic behavior, so we have 8 items. Okay, we have 8 items. So we need to run it individually. So how to run it? We click analyze, click scale. Analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Ay, geramnya. Hilang pula. Sorry lah tak tahulah kenapa ni. Okay, so after the reliability box appear, so you locate all the 8 items under item box. Okay, locate all the item under item box. But if let's say your instrument has the negative worded item, so make sure you use the reverse item. Tapi dalam case ni tak ada semua positif. Tak ada ni. Are you still there? Ada lagi tak? You all still nampak saya tak? Ke tak nampak dah?
Nampak doktor?
Kat screen doktor nampak je.
Okay, sebab kat skrin saya ni you all dah kerah dah. Saya je kot ni, line saya ni.
Sebab dapat doktor buka chat. Nampak.
Okay. Sampai nampak. Okay. Okay, so you select all these 8 items and locate under the item. If you have the reverse item, reverse coded item, so make sure you use the reverse coded item here. So now we locate all the 8 items under items box. Okay, so for the model we use alpha. Okay, alpha, Cronbach alpha. For the statistics, okay, this one, for the statistic, we focus on descriptive 4. Just tick for item, scale and scale if item deleted. Okay, that one, basic one je. Item, scale and scale if item deleted, and then click continue. And then click OK. Okay, so this is our finding. Okay? Fast good? Okay, boleh Am I too fast?
Clear.
Okay. So based on case processing summary table, so this is it will indicate the number of respondents that we have in our data set. And then this is the reliability statistic. This one will indicate the overall reliability of our instrument. Okay, which is now our alpha for the philanthropic behavior instrument is 0.73. Okay, 0.73. Okay. If let's say lah so this one tak apa. This one kita ignore kan the item statistik ni, but we want to focus on item total statistic. If let's say lah we have intention to increase this value from 0.73, for example. You have intention to increase because you think that 0.73 is not good enough. So then you want to, to do so, we need to check on individual item. Okay, to check on individual item, focus on this column. Cronbach alpha if item deleted. Focus on this column. Okay, by the name Cronbach alpha if item deleted, it means that, okay, our original alpha is 0.7, 0.373 0.73 kan? Oh, got lah.
Yes, 0.73.
0.73. So this is our original point from overall Cronbach alpha, 0.73. Okay, means that if you want to increase this Cronbach alpha, you need to look from this Cronbach alpha if item deleted column, if there's any value larger than this value. For example, the largest one is 0.776. This one lagi tak? Lain yang lagi tinggi. 0.776. Yes, this is the largest, 0.776. Okay, so this is the largest value. If we delete the item number 2, 1, 2, our new Chromebook alpha, our new overall Chromebook alpha will be 0.776. Okay. So for example, okay, I delete item number 2. Okay, I recall my reliability analysis and I omit instrument number 2, item number 2, sorry. And then I rerun the analysis. See? So the new reliability value is 0.776. I increase the value. So what does it mean by Chromebook alpha item if item deleted column? Okay, the higher the value means that the lesser the quality of the instrument, of the item. Okay, the lesser the value of instrument under this column means that the higher the quality of the instrument. Oh, sorry, the higher the quality of the item. Semakin tinggi nilai Chromebook alpha if item deleted for the instrument ni kat sini, maksudnya semakin kurang kualiti item tersebut. Tetapi semakin kurang nilai Chromebook alpha if item deleted of the item, semakin tinggi kualiti item tersebut. But in this case, for example, if you want to increase your reliability value to 0.8, then you delete item number 3. So then the new Chromebook alpha will be 0.8. Clear? Clear?
Clear.
Doctor,
Okay.
can we just delete the item just for the purpose to increase the reliability, or must we like give any justification, because then it means that we change from the original instrument, kan?
Okay. Okay. First, when you want to use the cut-off point to determine what is the suitable reliability that you should stop at. Okay. First, make sure you have one scale that you refer to. Any scale lah. For example, based on past study or based on past researcher, they indicated that the acceptable reliability value is 0.7, as what I indicated in my slide. So 0.7. So by hook or by crook, you need to make sure that your reliability value reach 0.7. Okay, if your reliability value does not reach the 0.7, so means that your data is lack of quality. Kurang quality lah finding kita sebab tak reliable. Okay, the criteria tu kita kena fulfill. At least your overall ni, if let's say you use the cut-off point is 0.7. So you need to make sure that the cut-off point here indicated at least 0.7. At least. Either you want to increase it or not, it is an optional for you. Dah optional dah. Tapi yang penting meet dulu this one. But if let's say it does not meet the minimum requirement, which is 0.7, so therefore the deletion is a must. Faham? Walaupun it is been proven by past study that the instrument is reliable, but according to our setting, according to our respondent, it is not so. So that's why kita kena buat some adjustment according to my respondent. Boleh Faham
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Welcome.
Doctor, in our report, should we stated that we compare with the previous study, past study?
Meaning that, for example, Balkis used 0.7, then based on past study, 0.7 considered to be acceptable, is it?
Yes.
Yes, you have to mention that. Even though sometimes
Dekat pilot study tu?
dekat pilot, not dekat pilot
Actual.
study. No, it is dekat section reliability. When you want to report the reliability should be reported under its own section, which is section under instrumentation. Lepas next to instrumentation, dia ada reliability and validity. Under pilot study section, you just mention about when the pilot study being conducted. So what are the adjustment that you did during after your pilot study completed. Itu sahaja. Reliability should be reported under its own section. The other section, reliability and validity after instrumentation. Dekat pilot study tu cerita tu je, the technical part. Bila kita buat, when, how many involved, what are the changes that we did according to the feedback that we received from our respondent. That's all. Yeah. Okay, any more question related to reliability ni? Then next one. Alamak, keluar. Slide saya lah ni. Aduh, slide pula hang.
Doktor, kalau kita macam tadi delete item untuk tujuan nak increase gelombang alpha, should we repeat the pilot study or proceed to actual?
Again.
After we delete item, after the pilot study,
Okay.
should we repeat another pilot study or
No need.
no need? Okay.
Tak keluarlah pula slide saya ni. Okay, dah. Okay, so this is how to report lah Ni sebenarnya how to report this one macam ni lah. But for those who just adapt the instrument, not adapt or adopt, not develop the instrument, tak perlu detail ni pun tak apa. You just report the overall the overall reliability value according to construct. Tak perlu sedetail ni based on item. Okay, tak perlu pun kalau kita adapt or adopt unless you are developing a new instrument. Okay, so this is the manual calculation. Okay, the next method is split half reliability. Okay, split half reliability ni we use when number of items is too large and it is possible to create two half of these tests that are designed to measure the same thing. Maksudnya item kita tu terlalu banyak. Okay, item kita for the individual construct, not for the overall for the individual construct. For example, to measure job performance, you have 60 items solely for job performance. So then you can consider split half reliability method to test for the reliability. Okay, so how we do the reliability split half ni? We just divide the items ni into two. 30 for the first half, another 30 for the second half. Split half. Okay, bahagi dua. Okay, to report the split half, we use Spearman-Brown or SB coefficient. Okay, so if you have the equal length portion of your instrument, so then both half have equal number of items. For example, you have the overall 60 items for job performance. Then if you split half, both portion have 30 items. Okay. And then dia ada lagi satu unequal length. Okay, in which for example you have the instrument dengan nombor ganjil 61 for example. If you divide into 2, then one portion we have 31, another portion will have 30. Okay, unequal length. Okay, this is the manual calculation, tapi tak apa. Okay,
Doctor.
Yes.
Doctor,
Yes.
for split half reliability, is it applied only for unidimensional or for both, including multidimensional?
Multidimensional. Okay, it is applicable to both. Dua-dua. Unidimensional and alamak. Dah hang dah. Sorry hilang. Geram. Sorry lah geram pula. Tiba-tiba mati ha. Boleh. Boleh. I'll share the recording later insyaAllah. Sorry for the technical error. Okay. So this is the procedure. So basically dia sama saja. Ni. You can follow the step Okay. This is the manual calculation. Next one, inter-rater reliability. Tadi saya dah jawab belum tadi? Dah jawab kan? It is applicable for unidimensional and multidimensional item. Okay, inter-rater reliability. Okay, inter-rater ni it measures homogeneity across raters who are performing the measurement. Okay, across raters. Those who raters must be blinded and randomly assigned. Okay. Okay, for continuous data, consensus is measured by correlation Pearson to reviewers. For example, we use 2 reviewers. Untuk yang inter-rater ni, kita guna biasanya 2 je, cukup je. Okay, dia not necessarily we conduct, not necessarily we use the informant as exactly shared similar characteristic with our actual respondent. Tak semestinya, kadang-kadang kita guna expert pun boleh untuk inter-rater ni, inter-rater reliability. Okay, those who has knowledge lah related to our study. Okay, if let's say our data is categorical, then we can run the analysis by using correlation Spearman rule. Okay, Spearman rank order correlation or Cohen-Kappa. Okay, so assumption dia Cohen-Kappa works best with nominal scales with a limited number of categories. Cohen-Kappa. So lagi senang pakai Spearman rule, Spearman rank order correlation if you have the categorical data. Okay. This is how to run. We just tick for Kappa ni. Okay. This is the APA presentation for inter-rater reliability. Senang je. A study was conducted to estimate the inter-rater reliability of the 10-item job satisfaction scale. So results shown that kappa statistics is equal to 0.651, indicating a substantial degree of inter-rater reliability among the administrators of the scale. Cukup. Itu saja. Short sangat dia punya reliability report. Dah. Itu sahaja untuk hari ini. Is there any question? Cukup lah. Setengah hari ini. Is there any question?
Doktor ada.
Yes.
Doktor nak tanya, what happens if we cannot contact the original instrument developer? So like we already email, tapi tak ada reply. So that's the first question. Second question is, example, the original rating was like 1 equals to not well at all. So dia sama lah macam strongly disagree. So if I want, because I feel that it doesn't suit our context for not well at all. So if I want to change it to strongly disagree, what can I do or how to do it? And one more question. So let's say if certain wording in the instrument, I feel it's not reflective. Like example, one is mine is motivation to work remotely. So one of the item says that the motivation to work remotely is because I feel like a winner. So I personally feel macam that item is very vague. So how can I change that wording? Sorry, doctor. Too many
So
questions.
it's okay. Okay, the first one you cannot contact the original author. Okay, first you try to check the articles that where you get the instrument. Okay, means that when you get the instrument and make sure that you reach to the original author. So is there anywhere stated on the article that no need for you to to get the author's permission for, if let's say the study is related to academic purpose? If let's say tak ada, if let's say there is the statement mentioned there, so then no need for you to contact the author unless it is under copyright. Is the instrument under copyright, Yoga?
In the research article, it's written there's copyright.
Copyright the article, but the instrument.
No, it's not mentioned about the instrument, just the research itself, it has copyright.
Try you read at the end, biasanya ada. Nothing mentioned tu biasanya ada. But if let's say you try to contact the author, but the author refuse, how many authors are there in the article?
I'm using 3 instruments. One is on work self-efficacy, and then one is on job satisfaction, and another one is motivation, work motivation.
No
So
worries
it's
lah. This instrument is available for academic purpose, so no need for you to contact. Mostly.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Okay,
So the second option, you change the scale. Yes, possible. Okay, possible.
Okay.
And then third one, items, you want to change in terms of item. Yes, that one is the purpose of adaptation. The purpose of adapting the instrument. Because sometimes it is not suit with our respondent, but to reconfirm, then reconfirm it in your validity process, validation process. Sometimes we think it is not suitable, but we as a novice researcher, so probably you want to get the second advice, which is from the expert. So then do the deletion after you get the advice from the expert during your validation stage, instrument validation.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor.
Is there any more question before we stop today? Cukup hari ni?
Doktor, saya
Yes.
nak tanya,
Yes.
boleh tak kita gunakan different scale for every construct? Contohnya untuk construct 1 kita guna yang Likert scale 5, and then yang second one 7.
Boleh?
Boleh tak?
Possible?
Boleh. Boleh. Okay,
Tak ada
thank you.
masalah. Boleh, tak ada masalah. Because later on the analysis is based on the average. Based on the average. It doesn't mean that if let's say the score, the responder score 7 in your second construct, doesn't mean that it will exceed the first construct. Tak, it's different construct. And then later on the analysis is based on mean. Okay, bukan individual item. Okay, ada lagi?
Okay, thank you, Doktor.
Ya,
Sir,
please. Ya.
Saya just nak refer kepada assignment.
Assignment lah tu assignment.
Okay.
Okay.
Run the internal consistency tu refer to dalam bahasa alpha lah.
Yes.
Cuma tadi Dr. mention yang kita nak untuk run for kelompok alpha dekat on a construct or variable itself. Cuma based on assignment 1 tu, kalau coping strategi tu dia ada 3 dimension. Task orientation, emotion oriented and avoidance oriented. Reliability test tu on coping strategy as whole, or sebab in question run the internal consistency reliability test for PB, TOC, EOC, AOC.
So individual lah tu. Individual. So coping tu dia ada 3 jenis coping. Emotional, ingat task oriented, lagi satu AOC, TOC,
Avoidance.
avoidance. So 3 tu. So maksudnya buat individual ni lah. Coping tu memang dia ada 3. Coping tu berbeza. Dia bukan sub. Dia coping yang berbeza. Style yang berbeza. Dia macam leadership skill. Leadership. Leadership gaya, leadership style. Sorry. Lagi? Lagi tak ada dah? Tak ada So I thought that's all for today. Short and sweet insyaAllah. So insyaAllah we will meet next week on validity topics. So thank you guys. Take care. Selamat. Yeah.
Doctor, also one more. Doctor, because we are sit in, can you put your slides in the WhatsApp group because I don't have access to Putra Blast.
Okay. Boleh.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Doctor,
Ya, Nat.
one question from Balkis. She asked how to decide on the range of a question, let's say for age or length of service kan. So how to decide on the range, whether 10 years or 20 years?
Okay, so related to demographic factor lah, demographic items ni, I always advise my student, if possible, try to go for the exact value answer, which is the ratio or interval. The answer that will be provided in ratio or interval. Okay, so maksudnya let the respondent give their answer, but sometimes it is impossible because some respondent they want to keep their, for example, salary as confidential. So to determine the in terms of the salary category ni, you try to check lah the background of your respondent in terms of the higher salary and then the lower salary for specific group of your respondent. Sebab tu kalau boleh, when selecting our respondent, make sure our respondent, the variation in our respondents ni are not that many. For example, you combine all together those, for example, government officer ni dekat grade 54 and above with 51 and below. Sebab the roles ni memang akan banyak beza. Okay, dia punya rate, sebab the finding ni, the answer, sebab dia punya salary ni somehow dia akan determine the answer given by respondents. Sebab kita tahu those 54 and above ni, grade dia ni, the roles that they play within the organisation are totally different from those 51 and below contohnya. Ataupun 41 and above, contoh between 41 and 51 contohnya. Dia memang the roles are totally different. Those 54 and above or 51 and above ni are the decision makers. 41 and 48 for contohnya. Decision maker juga, but in terms of the empowerment tu lesser compared to 51 and above contoh. Okay, lagi-lagi jangan campur dengan the technical staff. Kita memang, there is one study by my PhD student. Memang dia punya finding tu agak berbeza dengan past study sebab he combine the two categories. Unless you have intention to compare the answer given by the two categories in your study, itu lain. Kalau ada the intention lain. So itu dulu. In terms of selecting the interval tu, make sure you dapat dulu grade dia, tinggi paling rendah. Unless kalau untuk yang private industry, private company, kira-kira kita tak boleh nak capture dia punya highest, tapi lowest tu ada dah sekarang ni kan, sometimes yang 1,300. Kan kita boleh capture lah 1,300, tapi ada juga industri yang tak follow. Okay, ada juga yang tak follow, tapi you boleh lah bagi option kita, maksudnya lesser dan berapa, 1,000 ke. Okay, in terms of interval tu saya hanya mencadangkan 5 group, cukup 5 group. Dia punya interval tu, between the interval tu 5 group. Interval tu you decide lah mana yang you rasa according to your setting, the highest, lowest divide by 5. Itu saya punya cadangan. In terms of age pun sama, age, working age. Tapi itu link sebenarnya dengan grade ataupun dengan kita punya level of education ke, dia ada kaitan. Okay?
Okay, Doctor, thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you guys. So take care. Selamat berbuka. So see you next week. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, doctor.